My name is Mlenga Chama, sitting in for Accountant General. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of Parliament. MWANSABOMBWE. Good afternoon. My name is Jeffan Siame, representing the Office of Controller of Internal Audit, Ministry of Finance.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good afternoon to you and the honorable members of your committee. MWANSABOMBWE Town Council, you're welcome to this session. I'm Kazinga Kennedy from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Tali Mishek. I'm from the Local Government Service Commission.
Thank you. Clerk's Office.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keke Makua from Office of the Clerk.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Simaloli Namwenga from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you. Honorable Member from Clerk's Office.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to you. CS and your team, you're welcome. Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
Honorable Member for Sevonga.
Chairperson, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mulonda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Member for Mfumbwe.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon also, MWANSABOMBWE, and you're welcome to your committee. My name is Eliot Kamundo. I'm Member of Parliament for Mfumbwe.
Mangango.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon to you. Afternoon, MWANSABOMBWE, and you're welcome to your committee. Afternoon, our permanent witnesses. Honorable Member, you're welcome, and good afternoon to you too. Our viewers and the listeners out there, good afternoon to you as well. I'm Mwene Lohamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango. Thank you.
Honorable Munda, we have Honorable Pavyuma on the line. Honorable Pavyuma.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members, all our permanent witnesses, Secretariat, MWANSABOMBWE Town Council. Good afternoon and welcome to the committee. Karobo Pavyuma is my name. I represent the good people of Sekere constituents, Kitwe in the Copper Belt. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for keeping close to the committee business. Honorable Fomitete, are you there? Okay, he will join us in due course. My name is Mishek Mutetwa Nyambose, representing the wonderful people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province of Zambia, and I'm privileged to chair your committee. CS, you can take us through your memorandum.
Thank you, the committee chairperson. Before I walk you through the report, I wish through you to seek your indulgence so that I make one correction on page 4.
You're welcome, sis.
May I draw attention to page 4, cross-cutting issue, Appendix 1, the heading must be Appendix 1, budget, comma, funding and expenditure. The heading for Appendix 1 should read budget, comma, funding and expenditure. The chairperson,
okay,
I beg to move.
No problem. Go ahead.
Item A, failure to hand over completed project, rural health post at Chokwe. Page 2, cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that this was due to availability of commissioning officers. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the rural health post at Chokwe is commissioned and fully operational. This is attested in Appendix 1. Remedial action. Management will always continue to ensure that the completed projects are commissioned on time and handed over to the intended users. I draw attention to B, construction of maternity annex and installation of water tank at Kapesa Rural Health Post. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that this was due to availability of commissioning officers. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the maternity annex at Kapesa Rural Health Post is commissioned and fully operational. This can be attested as contained in Appendix 1. Remedial measures. Management will always continue to ensure that completed projects are commissioned on time and handed over to the intended users. May I draw the committee to cross-cutting issues? Appendix 1, budget findings and expenditure. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's finding and would like to report that the council received a sum total of 27,661,470 kwacha against the budgeted sum of 28,313,902 kwacha under the 2023. Further, management wishes to state that the variance of 1,052,432 kwacha resulted from the retained funds by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, which were meant for ambulance and the construction of Chief's Palace. Management furthermore wishes to state that the balance on the 2023 CDF funding against the expenditure represents CDF programs that were ongoing as at the end of 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to state that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken and the results are shown in the table, also contained in Appendix 2. Further, management wishes to indicate that since the spend of the balance was for implementing the CDF projects for the year which ended 2023, I draw your attention to Appendix 1.1, retained for Chief's Palaces. Cause of query. Management has acknowledged the findings of the auditor and wishes to state that the query is as a result of the retained funds for the construction of Chief Palace by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development retained a sum total of 936,751 kwacha for the construction of Mwata Kazembe Palace. The procurement works for the construction of Chief Palace was centrally procured by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and contract was awarded to Zambia Correctional Services at a contract sum of 4,037,430 kwacha 12 ngwe. The contract was signed and the contractor is on site. Further, it should be noted that the fiscal progress is at 75% as at April 2025. This is contained also in Appendix 3. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that progress of the project is closely supervised so that specifications of the contract are met. May I draw to Appendix 2, Total and Spent Fund. Cause of query. Management has acknowledged the findings of the auditor and wishes to state that the query is a result of failure to spend a total sum of 16,610,904 kwacha for the 2023 CDF project as a result of receiving funds in the fourth quarter of 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it has reconciled figures and would like to report that it had carried over funds 20,079,464 for 2022 projects, and also received a sum total of 27,261,470 kwacha in the year 2023, making the total sum available to 47,340,935 kwacha. Further, management wishes to state that it spent a total sum of 32,624,821 kwacha in 2023 from the funds available, leaving a balance of 14,716,114 kwacha 68 ingwe as at 31st December 2023. These funds were spent during the implementation of CDF projects in 2024. Furthermore, the current status as at 31st March 2025 is shown in the table below, also Appendix 2. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that the funding for the financial year is spent within that year. Item 2.1, Unspent Fund, Community Projects. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor and wishes to state that the balance on the 2023 CDF funding against the expenditure represent the community projects that were ongoing at the end of the year 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to state that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF community project was undertaken, and the results are shown in the table below. Further, management wishes to state that it has since utilized the balance as at 31st December 2023 in implementing the 2023 community projects. Furthermore, management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that funding for a financial year is spent within the stated year. Item 2.2, Unspent Fund, Empowerment Grants. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor and wishes to state that the query is a result of failure to spend a sum total of 36,310 kwacha for empowerment grants as a result of a remainder from the total approved, hence became a carryover. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it has since utilized the funds. The balance as at 31st March 2025 in disbursing the empowerment grants for the year 2023. This is as contained in the table embedded therein. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that the funding for the financial year is spent within the year. Item 2.3, Unspent Funding, Empowerment Grants. Cause of the query. Management has acknowledged the funding of the auditor and wishes to state that the query is as a result of failure to spend a sum of 36,310 kwacha for the empowerment grants as a result of the remainder from the total approved, hence became a carry over. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it has since utilized the balance as at 31st March 2025 in disbursing empowerment grants for the year 2023. The table below attests to that. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that the funding for the financial year is spent within the year. May I draw you to item 2.4, secondary boarding and skill development, the bursaries component. Cause of the query. Management has acknowledged the findings of the auditor and wishes to state that this query is a result of failure to spend a sum of 1,541,795 kwacha. Secondary boarding and skills development, the bursary component for the year 2023 as a result of response from applicants. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it has since utilized the balance at 31st March 2025 in paying for secondary boarding and skills development. The table embedded therein attests to that, also embedded in Appendix 7. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that the funding for the financial year is spent within the year. May I draw the committee to item 2.5, unspent fund, administrative costs. Cause of query. Management has acknowledged the finding of the auditor and wishes to state that the query is as a result of the 2024 activities being undertaken in 2023, resulting into an expenditure of 14,337 kwacha, which was applied on 2024 application, as well as advertisement and distribution costs. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it has since reconciled the said expenditure and that the said was covered from the balances brought forward from 2022 allocation. The table below speaks to that, also contained in Appendix 4. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the Council will ensure that funding for the year is spent within the year as per allocation. May I draw the committee to item number 3, 2022 community projects. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the said projects were completed, commissioned, and operational. Action taken. Management wishes to state that all the 2022 projects have been completed, commissioned, handed over to the relevant departments. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that projects are completed within the stipulated time frame. May I draw the attention of the committee to item 4, 2023 community projects. Cause of the query. Management has acknowledged the auditor's finding and wishes to state that this result of 2 out of the 13 approved projects being outstanding while the 11 were in progress at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to state that all the 11 projects have since been completed, commissioned, handed over to all relevant authorities, while 2 projects were funded centrally, which include the Chief's Palace, and the procurement of ambulance. This is contained in Appendix 5. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that it is closely monitoring the two pending projects to ensure they are completed within the stipulated time. I draw your attention to item 5, analysis of performance, the youth, women, and community grant. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's position and wishes to state that the query arose. The residual balance of 36,310 kwacha resulted from variation between the approved amount and the actual disbursement to the best evaluated cooperatives. Action taken. Residual balance has since been spent as at 31st March 2025. This is as contained in Appendix 2. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that the said funds are spent within the fiscal year of funding. May I draw your attention to item 8, performance analysis, the soft loans. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's finding regarding the soft loan component. The allocated fund for soft loans amounted to 3,277 kwacha, 299 kwacha in 2023, with 109 total applications received. Of these, 33 applicants were approved, resulting into the disbursement amount to 3,028,391 kwacha. This left an utilized balance of 248,908 kwacha. The unutilized balance of 248,908 kwacha occurred to variances influenced by applicant-specific approved loan amount as per evaluation by the bank. Action taken. Management confirms that all eligible best evaluated applications were fully funded based on their specific approved request. The remaining balance has since been spent as at 31st March 2025. This is also contained in Appendix 2. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that it will ensure that the said funds are spent within the fiscal year of funding. Item 9, failure to recover loans. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation regarding the recovery of loans amounting to 1,329,597 kwacha as at the time of audit. 434,014 kwacha had been repaid, reflecting a variance attributed to beneficiaries' inadequate compliance with the repayment schedules. Action taken. Management has escalated recovery efforts through targeted intervention, including structured engagement meetings with loan beneficiaries aimed at reinforcing repayment obligations and fostering improved compliance. Additionally, formal demand letters have been systematically issued as attached in appendix to all defaulting beneficiaries to prompt immediate repayment. A total sum of 546,759 kwacha, 19 ingwe, has since been recovered from 2023 loan beneficiaries. This is also contained in Appendix 6. Remedial measures. Management, in collaboration with financial institutions, will continue to intensify reminders, follow-ups. Further, management will leverage on the recently established legal section within the Council to expedite legal enforcement action against defaulters. May I draw you to item number 10, secondary boarding and skills, the bursaries component. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation regarding the bursaries for secondary boarding and skills development programs. A total sum of 5,462,165 was allocated for 2022 and 2023, with 279 applicants for the skills development and 267 for secondary boarding. Out of these, 248 beneficiaries were sponsored for skills development and 178 for secondary boarding school, with expenditure totaling 3,920,370 kwacha. The variance in this number of graduates comprising 129 for skills development and 66 for secondary boarding is primarily attributed to the differing course duration, which range from 6 months to 2 years for skills development and depend on the academic grade for the secondary boarding pupils. Action taken. Management has continued to sensitize potential candidates from various wards about the procedure, qualifications required for the bursary eligibility. Additionally, management has enhanced tracking mechanism to consistently collect, update graduate records from various educational institutions, thereby to better accountability and reporting. This is as contained in Appendix 7. Committee, the remedial measures. Management will continue to closely monitor the program, the implementation time, and to ensure accurate time tracking of beneficiaries throughout their respective course duration. The chairperson, I draw you to item 13, analysis of performance of desks. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's finding and wishes to state that query relates to unspent balance of 133,793 kwacha. This amount arose from the variance between the total budget allocation of 5,331,000 kwacha against the actual contract sum of 3 million, against the actual contract sum for procurement of 3,554 desks, which amounted to 5,197,207 kwacha. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the unspent funds amounting to 133,000 kwacha, 793 kwacha, were unutilized for the procurement of streetlights and the solar lighting system to support community infrastructure enhancement. This is contained in Appendix 5. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that the project planning and contract award processes are aligned more closely with availability of the budget ceilings. Further, the Council will strengthen the internal budget monitoring to ensure full utilization of funds within the said fiscal year, and that any potential surplus is reallocated in accordance with the approved procedures and within the same budget cycle. The chairperson of this committee, I end and submit my report.
Thank you very much, Council Secretary, for that elaborate presentation of your report. It's now time for points of clarification. Honorable Member for Siavonga.
Chairperson, I thank you. Council Secretary, the query from the auditors on page 1 was about the delay to hand over the completed project. Would you state the period in which you delayed and the reason as to why you delayed to hand over these completed projects? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you. Through the chairperson, the said projects were completed and handed over. The delay was as a result of the officers to commission. We did write to the provincial office and we made follow-ups, and finally these they came through to commission and subsequently handed over. I submit, Chair.
When were they handed over?
The chairperson, this was in 2025.
From 2023?
Yes, Chairperson.
So, Honorable Mulunda.
The short one. Chair, Council Secretary, you've got evidence that you wrote to them and they delayed in coming or responding to your request for them to hand over.
Thank you, Chairperson. The correspondence was done and is contained in the document. Under Appendix 1, you can walk me through the correspondence. Just count the pages. Chair.
We have seen the appendix.
Yes, I have the appendix, Chair.
It is there on Appendix 1. It is dated 28th June 2024. The other one is 19th September 2024. So we have seen. It's quite unfortunate, because if you look at this segment, there are only two queries, and these queries on the specific audit findings, they are all to do with delayed commissioning. At the time of audit, the project had delayed for 9 months. Now it went beyond the audit up to 2025. I will make a comment at the end. Honorable.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, when I look at these letters, there is no response. There are no responses to them. So there could also be a probability that, since they are coming before this, they may just have printed out this and brought it. Because when you submit a letter, there's supposed to be a response, and then they stamp it where it has gone, and so on and so forth. But there isn't anything. These are letters that were just written to the Provincial Permanent Secretary at that period of time. So what is the probability that this could have been written by then?
Your microphone should be off.
Or they were just printed,
we
they were
hear
just
you.
written to us before they came here, just to try to support their evidence. I submit, Chair.
I hear you very well, Honorable Member. My comment on that one is that I give the benefit of doubt. There's no need to interrogate the council. The council have given us information, and they cannot accuse the big office of the permanent secretary. You will note that I didn't want to comment now. Let's leave this query. Let's go to other queries. Unless you have on the same, different one. Let's move to the next query.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Just want to have a point of clarification. There is this query on page 8. The query on page 8 is that Appendix 2.2, unspent funds, empowerment grants. There is an unspent amount of 36,310. And then I want just to find out what could have really happened, because in most of the scenarios you find that the applicants are more than the amount of money which is being set aside for the grants. And also you do agree with me that grants are easily applied for by the beneficiaries than loans. So what could have really happened to an extent that there was this unspent amount? The first question that I may want to ask is, how many people applied for grants? And out of those people that applied for grants, how many were approved? And also, were there no any others who had applied but they were left out? Thank you. For now, those are the questions that I have.
Council Secretary, you can take up those.
And in addition, because I've asked that because there is no evidence that has been given, there is no reference that has been given here. It looks like this is just open. We are just depending on the information that they've given, and that's the reason why I'm asking how many could have applied and whatever. If the information was given, I think I wouldn't have asked those.
Thank you very much through the chairperson. I'll start with the last component, which is dealt on page 13, where there is the performance analysis. On page 13, the table there, they approved the loan, then there is allocation, the amount in there, the number of applicants, there is 127, approved application 72, then the approval rate there embedded in, then amount dispersed is there in, the over expenditure over or under, and that's the amount which is reflecting 36,310 kwacha. In terms of the percentage disbursement is indicated therein, and the total sum which was disbursed. The other component, if you have any comment, Director Planning.
Director Planning.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. As indicated in the table, Appendix 5, the CS, I think, has alluded to the numbers. For me, I can just speak to the residual 36,310. So this arose due to the fact that the variation between what was best evaluated in accordance with the CDF approval process, the evaluation team, the best evaluated were 72, and the CDFC only approved 72. And in terms of variation, in terms of amounts, as indicated in Appendix 5, we had that residual amount. And the resolution was that we will spend this as a carryover to the projects that will come later on. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable.
Yes, just a point of clarification. You have this residue, which is 36,310. Now, the question that I was asking is that most of the times you find that the applicants, they are those that could have actually, they were almost being actually taken. Now, after you did you went through and then gave out the money, then you found that there was this 36 still remaining. Now the question is, were there no any other people that you could have taken on other than actually taking it forward? Because this money should have been spent in this particular time. And that is the reason why there is a query. Had you spent this amount of money, there wouldn't have been a query.
Thank you. Through the chairperson, the carry forward was in line with the CDF guidelines because there is a procedure on who qualifies and the criteria. The CDF committee did interrogate. The first stage was the bank did its assessment. Then again, the CDF committee convened and went through. But immediately, those who could not make, again making the people or groups which had failed the criteria, again will be here, awarding the people who failed the criteria. So management, the CDF committee resolved that let there be a carry forward of this amount, and this is why we have continued to sensitize our people, especially on the criteria and what they need to do so that they are not disqualified by failure to meet the set guidelines. Director Planning.
Honorable Kamondo, before Director Planning.
We have to separate the two. That is the point of clarification that I want. Because at what point was the bank involved? Because these are grants and these are not loans. At what point was the bank involved? Because what I know is the grants is the CDFC that would sit and look at those. Now, at what time was the bank involved? Because it's only through the loans that are taken to the bank to do their scrutiny. They would scrutinize again. But with the grants, it's only the CDFC which is involved, including actually the technocrats that are there. So in most of the cases, you find that the people that are involved, the applicants are quite many, and we always find a lot of problems actually to arise or to pick which people can benefit. Now, this is a peculiar scenario where even the grants, there's no one to take this. So that's the question I'm asking, that, but what could have really happened so that you can give a very good explanation? Because even in the other councils, we've seen that a lot of people would rather go for grants. And even the other one which we had in the morning, they were saying, no, the people couldn't get the loans because they were afraid. But with the grants, they were able to get it because they know it's a grant and it's not a payable loan.
Thank you, Chair. I think I was responding, taking the perspective of a loan. I hear you, Honorable Member. Director Planning.
Yes, as the query has been raised, the 36,000 could not be absorbed because I think the technical evaluation committee, when they did the evaluation and the applications that were made by the various beneficiaries, even the people who had remained for them to absorb this amount did not have the specific amount that met the 36,000. And so, as the committee is aware, I think we are discouraged to reduce amounts for the applicants, because these are some of the reasons that they give for non-implementation. If we do the reductions for them, I submit, Chairperson.
Honorable Kamondo.
Chair, sorry, I'm not trying to become difficult, but I want us to have.
No, you're doing a good job. That's why we're here.
Chair, you know that the grant goes up to 40,000. The grant goes up to 40,000. Now, what I'm not actually able to understand very well is that among those, unless maybe if they had applied for more than 36,000, but if there were some who could have applied less than 36,000, I think they were eligible to be given this amount of money so that we could have reduced. If you had remained with a balance of 4,000, 5,000, I think that would have comforted your committee. But however, there is a 36,000. This is a lot of money. Now to find that in MWANSABOMBWE, no one remained to get to the 36,000, I think that is where we still have a benefit of doubt.
Council Secretary.
Thank you. Through the chairperson, one of the attributing factor, most of the applicants, as the director planning alluded to, there are those who wanted the hammer mills and other issues which were above the said amount. So to create a green field, this is why the said committee undertook that route. I submit, Chair.
Mwene, you're not satisfied?
Chair, I think we will keep on going round and round. The best answer that the CS can give is next time we'll try to talk to one of those applicants to take it up, to absorb it, than going around. This is not a loan, as earlier stated by the honorable member. It's a grant. A grant, 36,000. A group can start up a what? Even a chicken run or anything that they can do. You see that? Eh? So the best answer that the CS can give, so that we proceed, is that Chair, next time we will make sure that this money is absorbed. May he state that, so that we go to the next question.
CS.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, honorable members, and thank you for the timely guidance. Much obliged. It will be undertaken.
Thank you. Next question as we wind up.
Thank you so much. Chair, the CS is making me happy. Chair, may we go to page 12?
Let's go to page 12.
Yes. Page 12, Appendix 4, 2023 Community Projects.
Honorable Mulunda, may I have your attention? Page 12?
Yes, 2023, Appendix 4, 2023 Community Projects. Honorable Mulunda is very happy with my comment. I'm equally happy.
Honorable Mwene?
Thank you so much, Chair.
Page 12.
Yes, Chair. Chair, it happened that there were 13 projects that were still being implemented during the time of audit, and eventually it is seen that 11 of them were still work in progress at the time of audit, and 2 of them, these were centrally procured projects. That's the Chief's Palace and the procurement of the ambulance. Now my question is on the 11 projects that you completed after the audit. I have seen on Appendix 5 you have indicated that really these projects were done. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see the dates on when exactly each and every project was completed and when it was handed over. You know, that kind of evidence is not clearly depicted. So maybe they can just take us through in that regard. And secondly, what led to the delay to complete these projects, these 11 projects, for them to go beyond the contract period? I submit the 2 questions, Chair.
Thank you. CS.
Thank you. Through the chairperson, may I draw the committee to Appendix 5, the second page, where it said District MWANSABOMBWE 2023 projects. Therein, the nature of the project, location approved, and the comment The 11 were completed and commissioned. Coming to the question for the completion and handover details, appendix. I can also draw the attention of the committee to appendix number 2. Appendix number 2. Pardon? We can start from. We can start from appendix 1 so that we don't get back. We go to the third page, 1, 2, 3. The third page, appendix 1. We start from the third page. Appendix 1. Appendix 1, the handover certificate. Starting from the third page, it goes way through for the said 11. After the handover certificates and the completion certificates, they take the larger portion of this appendix. The chairperson, sir, the issue for not executing the said projects within the fiscal year, partly we indicated when I was doing the submission, there was a part of money which came in the fourth quarter, and we had a spillover when I was alluding to how the disbursements were done. But going forward, Chair, it is the duty of the local authority and I being the controlling officer to ensure that we work within the stipulated time. With your indulgence, Chair, I submit.
Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. Just for the sake of guidance, I think next time, CS, when you are filing, it's imperative that you file accordingly, because here you have led us to appendix 5 and we went to appendix 5. There was nothing. That's why we got lost, you see, and hence there was that particular query for clarification.
I apologize, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mwene, for the guidance. Indeed, these certificates were supposed to be on appendix 5 because they are there, so you're supposed to put them where they're supposed to be. It's quite misleading. As we conclude, I want to believe that the comments that you have made today, especially on the two projects, you are being honest. That the delay of 9 months, as it was asked by Honorable Mlunda, was too much a delay. When a project is completed, it's supposed to benefit the people. But if you took so long just to commission, then it is an audit query and a concern to this committee and to the people of Zambia, because the benefits are not accruing to the people for which these projects are intended. So you have said that because of the provincial office, we're not going into that. Why I said I'll make a last comment is that take note of the guidance from the Ministry of Law Government. The new Minister of Law Government has guided that no project, once completed, should take more than 60 days to be handed over. These projects should be communicated. You have now the district commissioners who are sitting in the CDF committees. So as long as the DC is there, the permanent secretary is busy, the DC can do that. If the permanent secretary is good time, notify his office or the minister's office. You first notify them. If there is any delay, You come down to the permanent secretary by making even phone follow-ups. Then if not, then they will delegate to the district commissioners in the presence of the members of parliament to commission these projects. That is the instruction from government. So we don't want this query to continue. Even those which are pending to be commissioned should be done likewise. You note that had it been for these two, you are not going to have any queries on specific audit findings. You were only going to deal with the cross-cutting issues. And also, take note of the guidance. The issue of grants. It is not true that there are no clubs or people there who are willing to take these grants. There are more than a number that you have shortlisted there. So can the monies be exhausted to benefit the people of MWANSABOMBWE there who need support? Equally on the loans. On the loans, the recovery, the onus is on you. You are the people who are administering this loan. The bank is merely the conduit. So you must make follow-up planners and everyone get involved in ensuring that all those who got these loans pay back. Ensure that all these people got loans paid back. We want you to be like Mwense in the recovery, to be like Chifunaburi, to be like Chembe, to be like Shangombo, to be like Kafiwe, Karurushi, Vubwi, and other shining examples, Chisamba. We can mention but a few. There are so many who are demonstrating. You are so fairly doing well. You are fairly doing well. We don't want any audit next time on these specific findings, even on these issues. Learn to put your documents in order. With that said, I would like to say, it's not your question, but we are wondering as a committee, why are the chief's palaces delaying? It's not for you to answer. We are interrogating even ourselves. If the chief's palaces were administered by the councils, maybe the palaces could have been completed. Since we shall have the Minister of Law Government to come here, we would like to know, why are the palaces delaying when the other projects under the councils are making progress? So we want to find out so that we can ensure that these palaces also, the progress is recorded so that our Royal Highnesses can enjoy, as desired by the President of the Republic of Zambia, that palaces should be done on time to benefit the people. With that said, I would like to thank you and withdraw the immunity that had earlier conferred on you. Keep it up. Go and do better than this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. And thank you, honorable members. Thank you.
There you have it. MWANSABOMBWE Town Council has made their appearance before the Committee on Local Government Accounts, and that was on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. And I must make mention that earlier today we did have Lunga Town Council, and it was guided that they need to make a reappearance before the committee next week. And we also had Kawambwa Town Council. MWANSABOMBWE Town Council concludes today's live broadcast of the Committee on Local Government Accounts, but be sure to join us tomorrow as other local authorities will be making their appearances before the committee. From me, Taz Piri, and the entire production crew, enjoy the rest of the day.